Welcome to Unbreakable Latina. Hi guys, welcome back to Unbreakable Latina. This is your host Melina. Thank you so much for tuning in. Happy Valentine's Day. I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. I'm recording today, Sunday, February 13th. It's Super Bowl Sunday. I don't care for football, but I do care for the food and for the halftime show. So I'm getting ready to go to my uncle's house. We're just gonna barbecue and have some food and watch the Snoop Dogg concert. I have been celebrating my mom's birthday since Friday. We went to the wineries. My sister and I took her. It was so much fun. We didn't really plan anything. We kind of just said we're gonna go to Temecula and see where the day takes us. And we went to what is it called? Facelli Cellars, I believe. And the food is amazing. If you guys haven't checked it out, it's a smaller winery, but it's delicious. The wine's good. Then we went to Callaway. The service wasn't that great, but the views were amazing. And some of the sparkling wine was really good. I'm not really big on wine, but it was delicious. And then yesterday, my brother came over. We took my mom out to lunch. And we had a great time. So my weekend has been very busy, but I wanted to squeeze some time in to record this podcast. I have been wanting to talk about this topic for a while. It's something that I recently learned, maybe in the last year. And the topic I wanted to discuss is called love bombing. And love bombing is defined as an attempt to influence a person by demonstrations of attention and affection. It can be used in different ways for either positive or negative purposes. Psychologists have identified love bombing as a possible part of a cycle of abuse and have warned against it. So I had never heard of love bombing, but I think probably when I started learning about it, it was on TikTok University, of course. And once I started looking into it and reading into it, it really made a lot of sense to me. And I started acknowledging that I've been love bombed twice before in the last year. And I wanted to create this podcast just to raise awareness because love bombing can be one of the scariest things that happens when you're dating. Not only is it an extremely manipulative tactic used by narcissists, abusers, but it's also very hard to detect. So love bombing is like excessive attention, admiration, and their goal of love bombers is to make you feel dependent or obligated to them. And being a recipient of love bombing feels really good because you feel special, you feel needed, loved, valuable, worthy. You're like, oh my God, somebody really likes me this much. And it just gives you a boost of endorphins and dopamine. At the beginning of these type of relationships where love bombers start love bombing you, it may feel like the relationship is like too perfect, like too good to be true. And you might have think like, oh, okay, well, this is how it's supposed to feel like when people fall in love, or finally I found someone that sees my worth, or just like, wow, there's guys like these out there or girls like these out there. Because they're giving you so much attention, they're giving you love, they're giving you gifts, validation. And a great example, if you haven't watched the Tinder Swindler on Netflix, you should watch. But this is a perfect example. This guy was like this rich guy, and like he would take these girls to the finest restaurants, send them flower bouquets, give them all this attention, everything they wanted. He was perfect. And what did he do? He just ended up scamming these girls. I should have said spoiler alert, but anyways, this guy just ended up pretending to be this person that he wasn't and ended up scamming these girls. And then his true colors showed later when everything hit the fan. And this is typical behavior for love bombers. They shower you with gifts, attention, everything. And once they know they have you hooked, that's when their true colors come out. And then you're like, whoa, what happened? So let me share my experience with love bombers. So like I've mentioned millions of times, I'm fairly new to dating. I haven't dated in years, and I was on the dating apps. I matched with this guy. We'll call him Jay. So Jay and I hit it off right off the bat. He was funny, like our conversation kept going. He was practically like everything I thought I wanted. He was the same age as me. He had never been married, never been divorced. He didn't have kids. Everything that practically I am, he was, but the male version, or so I thought. Came from a good family, what it seemed like. He was very close to his parents. And I was just like, whoa, like, did I get this lucky and like find someone on the dating apps, like those people that find the love of their lives on the dating apps? And he was very, very nice. Like, he took me on these like really nice dates. Like, he took me to a winery, he took me on a boat around Newport. Like, it was kind of like, whoa. But I mean, the guy made good money. So I thought, oh, okay, like, this is his lifestyle. Like, it was just like really like crazy dates that I've never been on. And I was just like in awe. But at the same time, there was something in my gut that felt like this is like too good to be true. And I remember telling my mom and my sister that, and they're like, oh, it's because you're not used to getting treated like that. And I was like, no, but like something's off. So, anyways, we kept going dating. We dated for about like, I don't know, maybe 2 to 3 months. And at the time, he was buying a home and he's like, hey, like, you want to go with me? And I mean, like, why not? Like, let's go look at houses. So I went with him and he's like, oh, I like this layout better, or like, do you like this? And I'm like, oh, that's nice. You know, just giving my opinion. Like, as a friend, I wasn't planning on moving in or anything like that. I personally didn't think much of it. I just thought, like, this guy's buying a house. He needs a woman's opinion because obviously I got style. But I didn't think anything of it. Then I kind of casually mentioned to him, like, oh, I need to get a new phone because my phone kind of sucks. Like, I need the newest iPhone. And he's like, I'll buy it for you. And I'm like, no, like, literally, like, I could buy it for myself. Like, thank you so much. But I thought that was like a really expensive gift to give somebody that you just started dating. And I don't know, it didn't feel right for me to take this phone. And he was just like, no, but I really want to buy it for you. Like, I really like you so much, blah, blah, blah. And I said, no, no, no. Like, you could come with me, but you're not going to pay for it. So, anyways, we get to the store and he right away, like, the guy starts charging me for the phone. And he like swipes his card and I'm like, what the heck? And I said, no, I told you that I didn't want you to pay for it. He's like, oh, just take it as a gift for me. Like, it's cool. Like, don't worry about it. Like, blah, blah, blah. And I just felt like it didn't feel right, but I was just like, whatever. I was like, nadie nunca me ha hecho eso, so whatever. Like, I thought to myself, like, okay, well, he really wants to buy me the phone. Like, I'm not gonna stop him, but at the same time, I felt like I would owe him something if I gave him if I took the phone. So, anyways, like, he bought me the phone, and I was just like, oh, thank you so much. Like, you didn't have to. And he's like, no, it's okay. Just take it as early, like, Christmas gift or whatever. And I'm like, okay, like, I guess. I mean, everything was going good at the time. So, little by little, he started showing me who he really was. Like, he was a very impatient person, and I cannot deal with that because people that are impatient remind me of my childhood trauma. So I don't know, little things started like happening that I didn't like about him. And then in my head, I'm like, I'm gonna pay him back for this phone. Like, I don't think this is gonna go anywhere. But I'm like, okay, like, you can't be so judgmental, you know, like, no one's perfect, blah blah blah. Like, talking myself into like not ending things. And one day we went hiking. And as we were going hiking, he's like, hey, I wanted to talk to you about something. And then he's like, oh, like, I know we're not official yet, but I do want to make you my girlfriend, but I want to make it special, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, okay, like, sure. Like, I mean, when it happened, you know? And then he goes, like, my house is going to be built soon and it'll be ready in like this amount of time, and I would really love for you to move in. And I was like, whoa. Like, I said, oh, I was like, move in? I'm like, we're just getting to know each other. Like, we've only been dating for like 2 3 months. And he's like, yeah, like, why not? Like, I mean, we want the same things in life, like, we get along, blah blah blah. And I'm like, oh no, you know, like, I just want to take my time to take that step. I'm like, we're not even boyfriend and girlfriend yet, like, relax. But I said it in a nice way. And right off the bat, as soon as I finished telling him that I was not going to move in, he started being a jerk to me. Like, he was just like, oh, well, if we're not on the same page, then I don't know if we should continue this. And I was like, whoa. And I said, okay, well, if you feel that way, then we shouldn't continue this. And we went home. He dropped me off. He went home, and then he was like texting me like, I can't believe you, like I've spent all this money on you. And I was like, whoa, like no one asked you. And he's like, I really like you, and I thought like you wanted the same things that I do want. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm just not ready. Like, I don't want to take that next step. And he was just very upset about it. So I just said, you know what, like we'll talk another day. I didn't want to deal with it. It was like a Sunday night. So I was just over it. I knew I had to work in the morning. And I went to bed, and when I went to bed, I thought to myself like, I have to end this whatever dating relationship we have, because already he's showing me signs that he's going to be a controlling person. Like, I like to do stuff on my own. I don't like to be with my significant other all the time. Like, I could only imagine if I said, hey, I'm going to go hang out with my mom, he'd probably be like, you don't want to hang out with me? Like, you don't like me? And he was the type of guy that was like texting me all day. And my job, like, I could text, but like I can't really focus on like a good conversation because it's busy and I need to have my head in there. And I just couldn't give him that energy. And you could tell, like, he was like, oh, like, you haven't texted me all day. I'm like, yeah, I've been busy. Like, I'll call you later. I'll see you later, whatever. But I woke up that morning and he was blowing up my phone. Like, he knew he messed up because of how rude he was to me. And he knew he messed up. He's like, oh, I want to go to your job and take you to lunch. And I'm like, no, like, I have lunch plans. Like, I don't want to go to lunch. Like, I have, oh, just cancel on your friends, like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to cancel on my friends. And then he's like, but I really want to see you, like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no. And I was just said, I'll talk to you later. I didn't text him all day. And throughout the day, I just thought about it. And you know what? I was like, no, I have to end this because it's just, like, nobody that really wants you is gonna talk smack like that, or they're gonna respect your boundaries. They're gonna respect the fact that you're not ready to take that step. And this guy didn't. So when I talked to him, and I know this is probably bad because I ended things on the phone, but I called him and I said, hey, like, I've been thinking a lot about what you said, and you're right, we're not at the same space in life, and I don't want to continue to see you because I'm not where you're at, and I don't want you to feel like you're just spending money on me, which I never asked, but you offered. And I was like, and by the way, like, I Venmoed you the amount of money that was paid on my phone. And I was like, I don't want you to feel like I just used you. And he started crying. And he said, oh my God, like, I can't believe you're doing this to me. Like, how could you? I took you on the best dates and blah, blah, blah. And he was like yelling at me. And he's like, you're a bitch. You're this, you're that. And I was just like, okay, like, I mean, I'm glad I made the decision that I made, because if he's already being like this before we even are anything, imagine how it would be in a relationship. And I said, I appreciate your time and I hope you find what you're looking for. And I was like, thank you for all the money you spent on me. And you should never go spending money on girls if you don't really mean it. And he was just like, oh, like I can't believe you did this to me, blah, blah, blah. And then this is the cherry on top of everything. He goes, I was barely gonna gift you something really special. And he's like, I can't believe you. And I was like, okay, like what? And then he's like, I was gonna put you on the title of my house. And I was like, the title of your house? And I was like, we're not even anything. Like, why would you put someone on the title of your house? Like, now that I think about it, I should have continued things. I could have been a homeowner. I'm just kidding. But that was like, whoa, like, I am so glad that I ended things, because like, who the heck puts someone on the title of their house when they just been dating for a couple of months? And I just never, I said, oh, I was like, thank God I ended things. And I never talked to him again. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, quedé bien traumada after that. And I was just like, whoa, like, this is what's out there. And then I got love bomb again, and we'll call this guy G. G and I matched on a dating app as well. That's where you find all the keepers. So G and I matched. Again, successful dude, like career, went to school, didn't have kids, never been married, allegedly. Um, Funny. He spoke Spanish, so we joked around in Spanish. We hit it off. Our first date was great. He planned everything. He was very attentive. Very, very nice. Took me to extravagant dates, which I think are extravagant, but at the same time, like I said, I'm new to dating, so I don't know. Like for me, like dinner's normal, but these guys were like getting me like seats at like baseball games, like really good seats, and taking me on trips and stuff. And I was just living for it, to be honest. I was just like, you know what? I've never been treated this nice. Like, just go with it. And like, what if this guy is like really, truly the guy for you? Like, no me quería como desilusionar. Damn, I need to practice my Spanish more. I didn't want to, like, think, like, oh my God, this is going to happen to me again. So, like I said, G was very nice. Um, he was family oriented, like, hard worker, like to go to the gym like I do, like everything on the book. Like, he cooked for me, very responsible, handy, everything like I said I thought I wanted. And again, I got that same feeling. Listen to your gut, people. I got this feeling, and I told my mom one day, like, I'm like, oh, this feels like too good to be true again. And she's like, no, it's because you're being negative, you're doing this. And I was like, I don't know, like, whatever, like, I'll just go with the flow. Like, this guy's really cool. Like, I don't know, I just liked him a lot. And he wasn't giving me a reason not to like question him. Like, he was always attentive, like I said. He would text me. It wasn't excessive like the other guy, but he would text me here and there. He'd ask how my day went, like typical, when you start dating somebody. So, we were probably dating for like, I don't know, like 3 weeks, and then he goes, "Oh, I have this Havasu trip coming up." And he's like, but it's with some of my family. I'd really like to bring you if you're comfortable, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you know what? Like, I need to see what he's about, like, what his family's about, because I've been stuck in situations where I know that it doesn't define a person by, like, their family's actions, but you also want to go for a good family. And I was like, oh, I don't know, like, seems too soon. Like, I was still trying to, like, think about it, and like kept like asking my friends. They're like, well, dude, you've never been to Havasu, like it must be nice, blah blah blah, it's paid for, blah blah blah. And I'm not trying to say like I'm a gold digger over here, but I mean a paid trip, like who wouldn't want that? And I've never been to Havasu, I've never been on a boat. I mean, I've been on a boat, but not at the lake. And I was just like, well, I mean, like, he is putting all this effort. Like, we hang out all the time. Like, he's like, by that time, we'd be dating, like, I don't know how many weeks, and it'll be cool. And I was like, okay, I'll go. And then I was like, so what do I need to bring? Like, do I need to bring food or anything? He's like, no, everything's taken care of. Just like, swimsuits, sandals. And I was like, oh, shoot, I need to go buy some rainbows because my sandals are ugly. And then one day I get to his house and he's like, hey, like, I have to go to Nordstrom to pick something up for you. And I was just like, what'd you buy me? And then he's like, oh, you'll see. He bought me my rainbow sandals. I don't even know how he knew the size of my freaking shoe. Maybe I mentioned it. I don't know, but I thought it was so thoughtful. Like, I was like, oh my God. He's like, yeah, you said you wanted some rainbows, right? And I mean, sandals, it's not a big deal, right? It's not a cell phone. So I was just like, oh, that's so nice. I'm like, it's so nice. Thank you so much. I thought it was so thoughtful. And then it wasn't like an excessive gift, but it was a nice gift. And we went to Havasu. We had a blast. His family was like super cool. And I was just like, whoa, like this guy's really nice. And then one day I think he came over. I don't remember. Like he brought me flowers or he gave me flowers, but he's like, "Oh, hey, I bought your mom a bouquet too. So you give your mom a bouquet." And my mom hadn't met this guy. Like I was like, "No, I'm not introducing anybody until it's official." And then he bought my mom a bouquet. He's like, "Hi, que buen muchacho, blah blah blah." Hispanic moms, they get impressed. And I was just like, "That is so thoughtful. Like how sweet of him." And little by little, like everything was good. And then one day we're in, like, once I knew like, oh, I really like this guy, like, and the other one I liked, but not as much as I like this guy. Like this guy, I was just like, this is husband material. And I go to I don't know where we went. I know we were like an In-N-Out drive-through for sure. And we were talking, and I have no idea how this conversation came up, But somehow we started talking about plastic surgery. And he goes, would you ever get your boobs done? And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, would you ever get your boobs done? Like, if I pay for half of them, would you get it done? And I said, I've never talked about getting a boob job. Like, why would you ask me that? And that was the first time I was like, what the freak? Like I don't know, like no guy has ever complained about my body, like how it looks physically. Well, no guy has ever complained, and I was just like shocked because I was like, what? Like, and I said, you know what? I'm like, that's really rude for you to say. How, like, what if I said something like that to you? And then he's like, no, you know what? I apologize. And I was like, okay, like, te la paso, pero, like, I don't know, like, it just left me with like a bad taste in my mouth. Like, I was just like, should I end things? And of course, my smart self didn't end things. And then little things started popping up that his true colors started coming out. This was like 2 months into dating him already. I realized he was very immature. He would post a lot of inappropriate stuff on Instagram. And one day I told him, like, hey, like, I think that's kind of inappropriate. Like, isn't your mom on Instagram? He's like, oh, she doesn't understand English, so it doesn't matter. I'm like, yeah, but that's kind of embarrassing. Like, I would not want to be seen with someone that posts like inappropriate stuff. It's okay to send memes to your friends, to your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. But like to post them on your story, I'm like, it's kind of scumbagish. And so he was doing that. That was one thing I didn't like about him. But then like little things, like he would start getting like complaining about stuff and very nitpicky over things. And I was just like, whoa, where's the guy that I met? Like the guy that I met was like perfect. And now like I know him a little more and I'm just like, ew, I don't like this, I don't like that. And then I just realized he was very immature for his age. We're the same age. He's gonna be 32 now. And his true colors came out. He would get like very mad about certain things, and I was just like, oh god, like this is terrible. And the cherry on top of this one was one day he's like, hey, I bought something to put on my truck, and I'm like, okay, like what is it? He's like, it's for my license plate, something really funny. And I'm like, oh, let me see it. And the license plate said, Dodge the father, Ram the daughter. He drove a Dodge Ram. And I was like, you think that's funny? And I was like, yeah. I was like, that's funny when you're like 16 to put in your car. I was like, I would never get in your truck if you put that and you're picking me up, like, or we're going to my family's house or something. And he's like, why not? It's funny. And that's when I knew he wasn't the guy for me. And he ended up he turned out to be a scumbag. He was like texting other chicks while we were dating when we had talked about like only dating each other. And he was just like, hey, like I've been talking to this girl that I used to date. And I was just like, enough. Like I was like, I'm done. Like I should have cut things off sooner, but I didn't. So these are my two stories about getting love bombed. And it's a little embarrassing, but also, like I said, I want to raise awareness. If you think that this is too good to be true, it probably is. And maybe I'll change my mind when I meet someone that feels too good to be true, but is actually true. So, some signs of love bombing can be when a love bomber tells you he wants to spoil you, aka buying you like super excessive gifts in a short amount of time. They can want to spend all the time that they have with you, like, and then they'll make you feel guilty if you can't spend time with them. And like excessive texting, like, or you're out with your friends and they're like, oh, I just want to check in on you, like, where are you, like, I saw you post this on social media, are you okay? Like, I just feel like I need to know where you're at. Or like if right away when you start dating he's like, oh, you're my soulmate, or we were meant to be, and right away they want to make you their forever. So if you have had those people be like that with you, you've probably been love bombed. A love bomber will demand your attention at all time, and they'll try to isolate you like from your family and your friends. They will excessively compliment you and shower you with affection. They will persuade you toward making a commitment very early in the relationship, like Jay that wanted to put me on the title of his house and move in. And love bombing can be very dangerous because, like I said, you don't see it coming until you step out of that relationship or whatever it is, and you read up on it, then you find out what it is. But it's a common pattern. And now I know the signs to see if a person is love bombing me. And maybe I'm just traumada, but hey, I'd rather be traumada and aware than be a pendeja. Love bombing becomes a cycle of abuse because once the love bomber has you, they know they can control you because they know what to do to make you feel happy or get your ego boosted. And once you realize that you're in that situation and you withdraw, they freak out. So if you realize that you're being love bombed, the best thing to do is to remove yourself from the situation. And I know it can suck because you feel like, damn, like I just wasted my time dating this person that turned out to be so controlling or not the person I thought they were. But it's better to end things early than to, be stuck in this cycle. And there's a lot of examples online. Like you could research on Google, you could go on TikTok and find signs of love bombing. And if it feels too good to be true, just be aware, have a little guard up. I'm not saying that this is something that happens all the time, but unfortunately, I've been through it twice. And just being through it twice has opened my eyes a lot in reading about it. So if you guys have ever been love bombed, I'd love to hear your stories. Maybe share them on the podcast. You can send them to me at my email at melina@unbreakablelatina.com. Or you can go to my Instagram and send it to Unbreakable Latina on Instagram. DM me or email me. All the links are on my profile. And I hope you guys have a happy Valentine's Day and don't get love bombed. And don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. The reviews help so much. So if you have an iPhone, if you have Apple Podcasts, if you Google in there and just a couple words of what you think about the podcast, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you guys. Share this podcast with your friends. Have a great one.